Pain Hustlers is a 2023 movie starring Emily Blunt, Chris Evans, and Andy Garcia. Just in case you haven't heard of this one, here's the blurb so you know what it's all about. Liza Drake is a single mum who's just lost her job and is at the end of her rope. A chance meeting with pharmaceutical sales rep Pete Brenner puts her on an upwards trajectory economically, but dubious path ethically, as she becomes entangled in a dangerous scheme. Now, while the consensus seems to be that it's just above the middle in the ratings, I really enjoyed this and thought it did a great job of telling its story. Blunt, Evans and Garcia play their roles well, I thought, and I was thoroughly engaged throughout the runtime. Quick heads up though, before we go too much further, from here on there will be some spoilers for the movie, so be warned if you haven't yet watched it. What was really interesting to me about this film was that it wasn't entirely a work of fiction. The movie was inspired by a New York Times magazine article entitled The Pain Hustlers and a book called The Hard Sell, both written by journalist Evan Hughes. Those two pieces tell the story of a company called Insys Therapeutics and its billionaire founder, John Kapoor. Insys was founded in 1990 and marketed a fentanyl-based painkiller drug called Subsys. In their rush to lead the market and make bucket loads of cash, Insys and its staff broke the law in a multitude of ways, such as insurance fraud, misrepresenting the medical conditions of patients, and lying about the dangers of the drug. This ultimately led to the 2nd of May 2019, when Kapoor, 4 former executives, and a number of senior managers were found guilty on a raft of charges. Not only that, but the following month, Insys agreed to pay a $225 million settlement to the government and filed for bankruptcy. And then, to top it all off, in January 2020, Kapoor was sentenced to 5.5 years in prison. The movie generally follows this same thread, albeit with some names and details changed. Andy Garcia is clearly a take on Kapoor, and Evans would seem to be a match for Alec Burlakoff, Insys Vice President of Sales. But Blunt's character isn't based on one particular person, but instead she's an amalgamation of various people from within the company. Like I said, I really enjoyed the movie, and if you've got an interest in content about corporate greed, big pharma, or the opioid epidemic, then this is certainly worth checking out on Netflix. I'd also highly recommend the miniseries Painkiller and the docuseries The Pharmacist, both also on Netflix. All three do an excellent job of examining and exposing the greed and dodgy practices that big American pharma has participated in, actions that have directly led to the current opioid crisis.